Hello, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me. Just for a quick introduction, my name is Ashwin. I lead commercially on the startup event of GITEX, not just in Africa, but in Dubai, Marrakesh, and Berlin as well, where we're launching next year. I'm in charge of the startup section, and I have with me my colleague Alessia, who leads on the enterprise part of GITEX Africa. We will obviously
Hello,
talk a bit
everyone.
more into it.
Hi, everyone. Just a brief introduction from my side. My name is Alessia. I'm part of the commercial team at GITEX Africa, and I work closely with Ashwin to make sure we grasp the whole ecosystem for Africa and deliver the world-class event.
Absolutely, you said it, Alessia. What I should have said. No, I mean, on a serious note, I'm sure we all know the importance of the synergy between the startups and the SMEs and the enterprises and the government bodies, all of that, because it works very well in tandem. So this is why it's very important, and we are very glad that you all are here with us from different parts of the ecosystem, starting all the way from startups to the government bodies, the policymakers, the aggregators, accelerators, and so on, to understand what is the proposition here, what are we trying to achieve, and how we are looking to have Pakistan on the map in Africa through our platform. I believe we have at the moment we have a good number of attendees here. Let's think we can start. I can see it. Oh, it's growing now. A few more coming in. Let's just. I think we should start. Sure. I'll pass the mic over to Alessia here, and yes, let's go.
So we have a presentation that we prepared for you to overlook the opportunities that we have in GITEX Africa and in Africa in general as a market, and also what kind of opportunities are presented on the platform such as GITEX Africa to the tech companies, be it startup, be it SME, or the big tech enterprise. So just I would like to start with playing a short video. It's a 2-minute video about GITEX Africa, just to give you a bit of an idea about the event, and then we'll proceed to the presentation. And welcome back.
I think everyone felt that energy and got a look and feel of the entire, the success of the show, just in short. And what we want to take you through is our plan for the next year, next edition. I mean, I can go on for ages about how this actually created an impact across the region in Africa. But next year, we have a few new things in store. I'm sure some of you had been to the show. And I also want to introduce somebody. I mean, he will be joining a bit later to speak also, who's one of our, I would say, part of the North Star family. That's Akib from DevGate. He has joined us as well. After our session, he will be sharing his insights and his experience as well, which started from Dubai, and then he was one of our exhibitors at GITEX Africa in the first edition as well. So, Alessia, please go ahead with the presentation.
Thank you, Ashwin. So, as you've seen in the video, the event was truly impactful in the African continent and actually in the global continent. So many of you already know GITEX brand. It spans across 3 continents now. So one of them is obviously GITEX Global in Dubai. Many of you visited, exhibited, and been part of the show in one way or another. And this is one of the oldest shows we have under the GITEX brand. Obviously, Expand North Star is part of that show, or always co-located with the show within the same dates. And then we had a launch this year, which is the first launch on African continent for GITEX to go outside of Dubai and the UAE. And we selected Morocco and specifically Marrakesh city due to the growing demand in technology, due to the infrastructure. And I will touch briefly on the points. Why specifically Morocco? Because we've been receiving these questions from many companies. So, and then during GITEX Global this year in Dubai, just last month, we launched the GITEX Europe, which is our new event under the GITEX brand, and it will take place in May 2025 in Berlin. So just to touch a bit about on the location, GITEX Africa, obviously it's a strategic location for us as an organizer. We had to study many different locations to select the best one that will benefit the most to the African continent and to the exhibitors. Because for us, the main goal is to basically create an ecosystem within the country and bring new businesses to the emerging markets that need some kind of solutions and software. So why Morocco? Obviously, we have very strong ties with government entities. Our main partners of the event is Digital Development Agency, ADD, and Ministry of Digital Transition. So, these entities are very important in the digital transformation of Morocco, and they're very well connected also to the rest of African ministries who are in charge of digital transformation. So in terms of Morocco, why it's so attractive to a lot of businesses? First of all, Morocco is 6th largest African economy by GDP, and it ranks 3rd in MENA region for foreign investment inflows. It has around 15 billion US dollars in FDIs, and this is according to statistics from 2022. And, there's many facts which you can see on the slides, and we will be able to share the presentation with those of you who would like to have these statistics. But just one more important point on this slide is Morocco is ranked first among 141 countries in inflation stability. It means people actually want to go and do business and set up business in Morocco, and at the same time people want to do business with Morocco as well. And we also compared it to other countries in North Africa. This is a great destination to connect to the rest of Africa, because even though the event is hosted in Morocco, it is a Pan-African event, and we will briefly touch on the visitation, which countries are top visiting countries and top countries that are doing business during GITEX Africa in Morocco. So just a bit of a recap of the results from GITEX Africa 2023, which was launched 31st of May this year, and it was a 3-day event. It was a very well attended event. We received around 32,000 visitors from 128 countries over the course of 3 days. And the top 10 attending countries from Africa was, of course, Morocco, then the neighboring country, Tunisia and Ivory Coast. We had Senegal, Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda, South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, and of course, Egypt. So these are the countries that actually doing business during GITEX Africa, and they come to GITEX Africa and I mean private and public sector from these countries to actually source software solutions at the event to take back to their home countries. Because this event is also ranked as the biggest and the best technology show launch of in the world. So this is actually one of the achievements that GITEX Africa had this year. We had around 900 exhibiting companies and startups. So 4 of these 900 to 400 were the startups, and we had a very big show for the startups. As you've seen in the video, these actual footages were from the actual event. And the event, as probably you know from the GITEX in Dubai, it's one of the most attended events by the government entities. And not only in attendance, we can also say that this is one of the rare occasions when government entities come to the event and actually showcase something on the floor. So we had a huge stand for Morocco e-government, and also, we had some government entities from Saudi Arabia and UAE who came and showcased latest innovations in technology. So we had 33 ministers attending the event from 10 different countries. And, one of the main and the key areas where we are, not just in any trade show, we specialize in the concierge meetings. So, our event is one of a very few events, if not the only event, that actually cares about companies meeting potential buyers, which is exactly the point of any of the exhibitors to come to such trade show. So top areas of interest for visitors in 2023 was artificial intelligence, or any kind of a software that's based on artificial intelligence and clouds, cybersecurity, digital cities, or we call it smart cities as well as fintech and digital finance, and connectivity and 5G. As most of you know, Morocco and some parts of North Africa are currently transitioning to 5G. So telecom is one of the key sectors in Morocco and various parts of Africa to source for the products for the network infrastructure. Just a bit of here also in terms of the investors. I understand that we have a few startups here with us. So as I mentioned, we had 400 exhibiting startups this year, and the reason why they come all the way to Africa from various parts of the world is because we have the biggest in Africa investor program. So this year we had around 275 investors from African continent and worldwide, who came specifically to Africa to source the latest and most innovative startups. And we also had Supernova Challenge, which some of you are quite familiar from Expand North Star in Dubai, whereas all the participating startups have this benefit of applying to participate in our Supernova Challenge pitch competition with a cash prize of $100,000, which is the biggest cash prize of any pitch competition there is currently existing in Africa.
Just to add something from my side on the slide. So Alessia just gave a full picture of how the different entities, they work with each other, where they come from, all of that. I think it's important to also mention the investors. Just a second. Just a second. So sorry. Yeah, just wanted to say this is also important to understand that the investors, where they come from, or even the attendees, where they come from, the mix of the the places of the world where they're coming from is 60% from Africa and 40% international. And this is something that we follow across all kinds of the attendees, investors, buyers, distributors, and so on. So this is also, if you think about it, a way wherein it's a touch point in a global way as well. So you are going there to meet with, of course, predominantly the African ecosystem, but that's also where you will be meeting international entities from different parts of the world. So if you think about it, when you're joining us in Africa, you're joining us in Dubai, and then potentially joining us in Berlin as well, you're having multiple touch points, not just with those particular markets, but also international markets as well. Alicia, I'll just have you show the presentation again. Sorry.
Sorry, give me a moment. Sorry, apologies for that, because I had to mute and I had to go back to the other screen. So yes, we went through the statistics slide for the performance of GITEX Africa 2023. Like overall, you know, the buzz is still there. We had a lot of posts that's still going on the social media. You know, you just put hashtag GITEX Africa 2023. A lot of testimonials. You know, if you're looking for some real testimonials, this is the way to find them. Now, what are we doing for next year? So obviously, GITEX Africa 2024 is already 6 months away. So we're in heavy preparations now. We are active, and a couple of new launches for next year. So we're going to have a brand new show, which will be co-located with GITEX Africa 2024. It's called World Future Health Africa, and this is a dedicated space for digital healthcare. So Africa is big on digital health and healthcare in general, because there's a lot of parts in Africa that still don't have access to healthcare and qualified and proper healthcare. So what governments of different African countries doing right now, they're just building the proper infrastructure for the communication sector, like through the 5G, for people in remote parts of Africa to be able to access to telemedicine and doctors through the 5G and internet. So this is something very big for agenda in Africa. That's why, you know, telecom is another very important sector, because this infrastructure is providing the platform for launching the digital healthcare space as well. So the other theme that we're launching for next year or sector, it's called agritech. And actually in agritech, it's another big topic on African agendas, and technologies dedicated to agriculture and sustainability and water technology. This is very big in Africa as well. Now, one of the biggest sectors in Africa is AI, cloud, IoT, and data. And this occupies 5 halls in 2024. And then this is where we're launching actually a part of the conference content called AI Everything Africa as well, just to cover on that topic, because as you know, AI is taking over a lot of tasks, and it's helping a lot of lives and productivity. So that's why we want to showcase how AI is affecting African continent as well. Now we also have consumer technology, which is quite developed in terms of the consumer technology, like mobile devices, printers, and anything on daily life. Value-added distributors also come to consumer technology. We have one of the biggest value-added distributor called Mitsumi Distribution that's exhibiting with us already for the 2nd year next year. And they are just after the GITEX Africa 2023, they opened their office in Casablanca, and they're actively seeking new brands to work with in African region. And these brands are more like, they're always looking for more affordable brands, because Africa is more about affordability as well. Now, we also have a big sector for telecoms and network infrastructure, which I already mentioned that Africa is big on transformation to 5G, and it's happening. It's supposed to be happening this year, but you know, there's a bit of delays in terms of the cabling and infrastructure development. So most likely, year of 2024 will be a year of 5G in Africa, specifically in Morocco. Now, another big sector we have is smart cities that occupies 2 halls, and that's where all the government are presenting their latest solutions and showcasing different departments and how different government departments employ the latest technologies. Cybersecurity is another hot topic in Africa, because these all sectors are interlinked, to be very honest. Like, you know, you need cybersecurity to have smart cities. You know, you need cybersecurity to have secure telecoms and infrastructure. So we want to have this one platform platform that showcases all of these solutions to government and private sector companies to make sure that we unite the ecosystem together and do business together at the event. And then, of course, the big and the heart of the show is startups. I'll let Ashwin elaborate on that. This is his baby.
Sure. I think no, it's okay. No need to mute because I think everyone can hear me very well. Um, so just a second. Yeah. So just to add from my side. So sorry, I can hear myself echo. Just 1 second. That's fine. Okay. For the startups, this goes across all of these sectors in the sense that if this is going across, let's say telecom, digital finance, all of these. And one thing I wanted to mention here is that there's a real need for talent in terms of the service providers in Africa uh, across a few sectors. Now, let's look at things from a government perspective, or let's look at things from an enablers perspective. They have the need. These are challenge statements across, let's say, a smart cities level or telecoms level, or and so on. So they are really on the lookout for international startup and scale up talent to come into Africa across the continent and help them solve these challenges. Now, there are certain sectors which are a bit, reasonably strong there. Let's say fintech, for example, they have a good landscape which is already ongoing. They also have, of course, telecom is picking up and they need more as well. Uh, so the point here is that when you are going as a Pakistan-based startup or service provider or SME, I guess you couldn't hear anything that I just said. Okay, I'll make it very short. I'll make it very short. I'm sorry. Okay. What I was saying is, in terms of the need in GITEX Africa, or let's say in terms of the Africa continent, they have the challenges in terms of, let's say, you look at governments or enablers. They there are certain sectors which are strong over there, established, but there are certain sectors which are not so much as well, where they have the need, but they don't have the talent in terms of the startups or SMEs to solve their challenges, right? And this is where they look to international providers, which is starting from startups, SMEs, and let's say enterprises to come and help them solve these challenges across different sectors. Now, for instance, let's say they have the health ministry from one of the countries there in Morocco, for example. It is it is still an emerging sector over there in terms of the actual tech talent, which is homegrown, let's say across Africa for that matter. This is where, for example, Pakistan being known to be strong in software development across different sectors, applicable to different sectors, can really help them solve these challenges. And this is where technology import is actually really happening in Africa. So this is just to clarify this one point where there is big opportunity in Africa across the continent, let's say on a government scale or smart city scale, or in terms of, let's say, looking at the startup side of things, the VCs or the accelerators, they're looking to hire and recruit and to work with new startups which are strong in their domains from different parts of the world coming in. Now, for instance, telecom is a big need over there, and that is also something where Pakistan is strong in. So there are different applications there where when you're going in, and I'm sure Moeen and Akib from our exhibiting family will be sharing a few insights on this as well from the experiences at the show. So this is something that really helps over there. And I don't want to spend more in terms of, what are the, startup benefits over here, which we will get into in the next few slides. But just to share a few insights in terms of the connect over there, in terms of the event itself.
Thank you, Ashwin. I wanted to show this flow plan. Can you?
Go ahead, Alicia.
Sorry, yes. I wanted to show the scale of the event. Obviously, this year we had 10 halls overall. So GITEX Africa 2023 was only occupying 4 halls, three halls for AI, IoT, and cloud, 1 hall for consumer technology, 2 halls for startups, and then we had 1 hall for cybersecurity, 1 for telecom, and 2 halls for digital cities or smart cities. Now, from 10 halls, now we're growing to 23 halls, 22 halls to be exactly, actually, because we've just added extra hall for startups due to popular demand. So AI, everything, which is cloud, IoT, and AI solutions, they're covering 5 halls. Starting from hall 1 to hall 5. Then we have a hall for consumer technology, followed by agri-tech and sustainable tech, and cybersecurity has just been extended as well. So basically, we are maximizing the space that's been given to us by the government, which is the site where the event was this year. And to be honest, this is the maximum growth that the event can reach. So potentially for 2025, we'll be looking to move sites because, for us, looking at the growth between 23 to 24, the year-on-year growth was almost 80% more than we delivered in 2023. This is great because that means that there's definitely interest among companies coming and showcasing the latest products. That also means that the companies who exhibited with us at the show in 2023, we had around 75% rebooking rate, and most of the companies, they wanted to book on site during the event. That also means that the event truly delivered what we promised. We truly delivered on the trade buyers that we invited to the show. We truly delivered on the government connections that potentially a lot of the companies are looking for. And we truly delivered on the investor meetings that we promised to our startups at the 2023 event. Now, I would like to tell you more about our new sector, which is digital healthcare, which is going to be the co-located event together with GITEX Africa in 2024. The name of the event is World Future Health Africa. And this event is basically a response to government's request to launch something in digital healthcare space following the market demand. So as we've done some research about the numbers and about the market size, the digital healthcare space is very, very booming. And, we have obviously key markets here is Morocco, Northern Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa with, the potential spends of over 2.5 billion in Kenya, over 3 billion in Nigeria, and 11 billion in South Africa. So digital health is already quite advanced in South Africa. However, South Africa, it's, I don't know if many of you know much about Africa structure. South Africa is a bit detached from the rest of Africa. So it's very like sort of a country of its own and in the continent. And we sort of have a bit of an ecosystem from South Africa that's coming to GITEX Africa, and more is going to come for next year. And this is, again, uniting all parts of Africa, be it west, north, central, east, or south, to come to one event, to come to one platform, and to do business at GITEX Africa. So companies we're talking to now and companies who really express interest in the World Future Health Africa are GE Healthcare and Philips Healthcare and Roche. So these are the companies who, the big tech who would like to be part of GITEX Africa Digital Healthcare event. And then basically, who are the buyers that will attend the digital healthcare event, which is World Future Health Africa? That will be healthcare professionals. We have hospital and medical directors. We have public and private healthcare service providers, government officials, and policymakers, and so on.
And just to add to what Alicia just mentioned, I mean, GE Healthcare, Philips, and Roche, They are not, obviously not the only players coming in. They are coming in on a leading way, just to work with us in terms of developing the event as well. But obviously, we are in touch with the likes of, let's say, Novo Nordisk, Novartis, Abbott, and obviously several different players in the healthcare big tech ecosystem. And that is also to say that we have a startup division or a startup section in the World Future Health Summit. Uh, some of you might know how we have the co-located events in Dubai, for example, where we have the Future Blockchain Summit, which is part of Expand North Star. Which, for example, where in this context, in the healthcare event, the startups area, which Alicia is pointing out towards, that is a spotlight area for startups that are specifically into healthcare and health tech across different parts of it. And this will be the startups who have access to all the benefits in the North Star part of the event, which means they'll have access to the investors program, they'll have access to enter the competition, they'll have access to the mentorship programs we have for startups in the event. All at the same time, those startups will be having their physical location in the healthcare section in that part of it.
Now, this is again going back to GITEX Africa 2023. So we had a big e-government Maroc space in GITEX Africa. This year they take a more prominent space to showcase different departments. So Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Health, there. And then we have the Pakistan Pavilion, Destination Pakistan, and GITEX Africa.
Just 1 second. So sorry. Can somebody say if LSA is audible at the moment? Let's just 1 second. So sorry.
Can you hear me?
Can everyone?
I think now.
Can everyone hear us? Is it better now?
I can hear you guys.
Okay, go ahead.
Great. So I'm going to repeat quickly. So we had eGov stands at Morocco, and it's the biggest stand by government departments of
You have a bit of
Morocco.
an echo. Sorry, Alicia. You have a bit of an echo. I don't know if you've got a microphone on or something.
Yes, I think Ashwin.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, cool.
So tech destination Pakistan, can you still echo?
I think it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's okay now. Yeah.
So Tech Destination Pakistan at GITEX Africa, they presented quite a few SMEs in cloud, IoT, and AI sectors. Also, we had a pavilion by Saudi Export Development Authority, which was right next to the Pakistan. And we had Career Africa Foundation at the startup sector, together with German Development Agency, GIZ. So this is just a brief, to give you a bit of a snapshot of what we had this year at GITEX Africa 2023, and summarizing how GITEX Africa platform brought together more than 130 countries from across Africa and beyond to deliver the Africa's big plan, as we call it, because everyone has some kind of agenda for Africa, and it takes time to enter the market because it's one of the emerging markets and one of the new markets for a lot of them. A lot of the companies looking at this market, and we as a GITEX brand, we always want to lead the brands that coming with us in Dubai and potentially working with us already in the partnerships as exhibitors and sponsors to lead their way to Africa under the GITEX umbrella.
I think this is where I would just give my 2 cents on it. So obviously you can see the picture there. It was a sea of startups at the show in a good way. I mean, this is obviously from the first edition that you're seeing. We had pavilions from different parts of the world. We had individual startups, and of course, we did have a Pakistan pavilion as well. And thanks to the support from the government bodies involved, and of course our partner Eventage, who managed to bring some of the best startups into the event as well. Now, you see some of the main things written over here. I mean, award-winning startups. I think it's a key thing to mention as well. Just from a show perspective, we've had, I believe, if I'm not wrong, more than 100 award-winning startups out of the 400 startups that we had at the show this year. And this also helps everyone in the sense that it has attracted two main things, or two main groups of people. One is media, and the other is the ministries from, of course, predominantly Africa and international as well, which came to the show. And Alessia will elaborate on that a little bit more in terms of the media and ministry support as well. So when we have quality startups, of course, including the startups from Pakistan as well, it raises the bar, and as it did for the show this year and doing next year as well. And of course, you can also see the number of meetings which were done over 3 days. I mean, 1,500 meetings. This is obviously something substantial, where it's okay. This is not even considering the meetings that we had between startups and attendees. These are purely between startups and investors. And just to touch one point over the investors here, we run an investors program, which is something we do across higher editions in different parts of the world, where we have a team of actually 40 plus individuals now, which form the concierge team that we have at Dubai World Trade Center. And they organize one-on-one and one-to-one meetings between the investors that we host and the startups that are exhibiting, based on relevance, of course. So these are the 1,500 plus meetings in that sense. And there are so many more that that had happened between startups and buyers, which were from corporate and government backgrounds. And it's also worth mentioning the, in terms of the African startups, diaspora, the raise, I mean, the funds that they raised in this, in 2022. And this is also not to say that, we are not looking at the international startups. Of course, I mean, from a show perspective, there's been, actual fund deals that were discussed on the show, which later translated into actual, funding deals just shortly after the show, in the 6 months after the show as well. I think, Alessia, you can carry on with the rest of it.
Thank you. Now, I want to touch briefly on the startups. After the startups, I want to touch briefly on the conference agenda. 1 second. I can hear echo. So GITEX Africa is not only the exhibition, it's one of the biggest conferences dedicated to technology space in Africa as well. So we have a 4-day conference starting from day 0. And then it goes for the whole duration of the event, and it brings a very important stakeholders to the event as well, because not everyone wants to exhibit, not everyone's suitable to exhibit, or not everyone has any products to show for Africa, but a lot of people from a lot of international companies, they would like to come and they would like to speak at the event and share their insights. So we have a lot of, for example, government entities who are participating in our country briefings and high-level conference agenda. So just to give you a bit of a introduction into the overall conference structure. And of course, like all of the exhibitors are welcome to attend the conferences. We have paid and FOC conferences. So exhibitor badge will allow you to attend FOC conferences. And of course, for paid, there's going to be some delegate passes, that would be available for the exhibitors as well. And we have also some invitation-only summits that are purely ministerial and government-led. So on Tuesday, which is day 0, we're expecting investment forums dedicated for different verticals of the sectors, different sectors of the show. And these are this one invite only. So we have a healthcare, we have Africa investment, the overall forum, we have a telco and DPI and a government's future and agri-tech. I think the most important thing to note here in the conference agenda is obviously the biggest launch of next year will be AI Everything Africa, which will go across all 3 days. We have a great connectivity track, which is on day number 2, and digital cities on day number 3. We have a big program dedicated to startups, which Ashwin will quickly touch on now, and then the World Future Health Congress, which is our main conference dedicated to the digital healthcare co-located event, which is World Future Health Africa. So I'll let Ashwin now tell you more about the conference agenda planned for the startups and the pitch competition.
Yeah. I'll make it very short. I mean, of course, we all want to know about, what is actually in it for the SMEs and the startups as well. I mean, just one point I'd like to highlight here is that for the North Star part of the show, where the startups are located, the scale-ups are located, We have two stages. One is the 10x stage, which is the main startup stage. There is one called the Elevate stage, which is actually the stage which has specific track-focused sessions. And I'm happy to share that we have a series or a track called Spotlight. Those of you that have come to Expand North Star in Dubai would be familiar with this, where this is where we go deep dive into certain regions. Now, what we have, as you can see here, is Spotlight on Africa, Spotlight on Europe, and Spotlight on Asia. This is where we would be having our biggest supporters from Pakistan joining us, as leaders of the Asian ecosystem, right? And this is the likes of Ignite, for example. They are one of our, I would say, loyal family members of the North Star community, for example, that is driving the participation of Pakistan from the startup perspective. And of course, the likes of PSCB, I'm sure, some of you are already here in the webinar. So we are obviously looking to work with the leaders, the C-level, the leadership teams of the key entities to be part of the Asia Spotlight content track as well, alongside other Asian leaders from Korea, from India, from other parts of Asia as well. So Supernova Challenge, I'm sure a lot of you know this already, how it works, but this is one of the most exciting parts of the show, where this is very much like Shark Tank. Just to give you an idea, for those of you who don't know, we have a total prize pool of 100,000 US dollars that we are giving out for the most groundbreaking startups and scale ups, where the winner gets $50,000, one champion, and the remaining category winners walk away with another $50,000 divided. And this will be taking place on these two stages as well. Right, Alessia, over to you.
Thank you. Of course, I would like to mention that our show generates the highest number of public-private partnerships. During GITEX Africa, we have a lot of digital agencies. First of all, ADD is our support and partner of the show, which is a digital development agency of Morocco, and they invite all the other digital agencies from the Morocco, Northern Africa, and Pan Africa as well to come and contribute to the event with their presence. So that actually drags a very high level of attendees to the event, including ministers, director generals, including consulars and ambassadors. So it's very important to have the support of our Moroccan partners, because without them, the show wouldn't have had such high level. So as you can see, these are some pictures we had from the show. We had more than 20 national digital agencies at GITEX Africa. We have an MOU stage, which all of our exhibitors can benefit from. Like if you're signing any kind of deal on site during the event, or if you're planning to sign any deal during the event, we have a dedicated stage where, we give you FOC, the space to actually announce it, announce the public-private partnership with potential digital agency or any corporate entity that are at the show.
And just to add on to Alexi's point there, this is something which actually has a lot of relevance and it adds a lot of value to the exhibitors coming in from Pakistan across both startups and SMEs and enterprises as well. Why? Because again, this is not only limited to the deals which you sign with any entities, which could be a partnership with a similar, let's say, another service provider, or it could be a partnership with a client as well. But it's also to be used as a launch stage. If you're launching something new for the first time, it could be something revolutionary, first time in the world, or it could be something where, I'm just making this up as an example. Let's say I mentioned Ignite earlier, right? So let's say Ignite National Fund, Incubation Fund, they're launching a brand new program to welcome, to work with international startups or to work with certain international counterparts. This can be something that is launched live at the show, which obviously brings in the attention of media. Again, how it works is that if there are anything worth launching, anything newsworthy, we will share that among the journalists, the media that we are hosting, and this is also going to be publicized in our marketing as well, so the audience can come in from around the show. Now, just one more point over here. This kind of touches upon the importance and the attendance of governments in the event, where you see here the word ministry is written all over here, and that is for good reason, because the ministries from Africa and other parts of the world, they get involved in different ways. As you can see, they get involved in grassroots level, This also means the leadership and the government entities from Pakistan who are getting involved to support your participation, we will be able to curate high-level meetings between their counterparts in other parts of the world who are coming into the show as well. So this is very much, and I think this is very important to emphasize this one point, that this event is as much for the enablers and the facilitators from the Pakistan ecosystem, both startups and SME, the ecosystem, the layer on top, as much as it is for the actual exhibitors. So we have something which we look at Pakistan as a country, and that's what we want to, showcase in front as well.
Yes,
Alicia,
and just to add to this, GITEX Africa as a platform is used by our partners in Morocco, ADD and Ministry, to do their executive briefings. So they use this opportunity, they do it once a year, and they used to do it on a separate occasion, but now we have a separate space for them on the show floor to do these executive briefings to different country leaders. And that, again, drags ministers of, like ICT ministers to come to the event. And, obviously when they come to the event, they want to take time and go and visit different participants and startups. They're not just going to come, attend the briefing and leave. We had a lot of ministers, to be precise, we had 33 ministers this year from different countries in Africa and outside Africa that just came to one of these ADD briefings, and then they walked around and met a lot of companies. One of the companies that participated, which is Preside, part of G42, they managed to sign an MOU with the Ministry of Mauritania during the event. So this, this sort of doesn't happen at the general trade show. This is a very high-level trade show supported by the government. It has the show floor, it has the high-level conference agenda, it has also various trainings. We're talking about CPD trainings for next year as well. So there's a lot of opportunities, to come to the event and not only exhibit, but also to participate in the bigger agenda for Africa. So this is how our event is different from majority of the events out there. And we briefly touched on media. Our event is the most covered event in media in the whole Africa. So, for instance, we had 419 media representatives from 27 countries who covered GITEX Africa this year. It's all over the news. And just to give you a few names, obviously CNN International and Forbes Afrique, all these like the big names, and the Madness, they also cover event in UK and France. Then we have IG, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry, from Rwanda. So the event is covered globally, not only in Africa, but globally, just to show the impact and how GITEX Africa is represented on the world stage.
Yeah, and just to touch upon this, add one more point over here is that there's obviously a mix between the regional media and the international media. Let's say if you don't know who the regional media is, that doesn't matter, in the sense that that is exactly how you obviously get more, footfall and, let's say, more visibility in the regional market as well. So what I'm trying to say here is that the known names like CNN, BBC, CNBC, Entrepreneur, and even TechCrunch for that matter, Wired magazine, all of these international known names, we do have them at the show, and it's equally important to have the involvement of the regional media and have that sort of dual visibility as well, which we will help you achieve at the show.
Yes, and that concludes our presentation. Just to sum up what we've discussed, obviously GITEX Africa, it's the biggest and best tech event and tech launch that's happened. And there's many reasons for that. Obviously, we cover a big showcase of big tech and government zones and national projects and startups. We also help build connections through the ministerial country briefings for industry leaders. We have an MOU stage for launching the new products and signing the public-private partnerships with the potential partners. We have dedicated lounges for the visitors who are coming for different, like we have a VIP obviously lounge, and the connections lounge, which is our networking lounge, where the B2B meetings are scheduled by our concierge team. Then we have, we put a big impact on industry insights. So all the companies who are coming, obviously the C-level leadership, We are looking how we can plug them into the conference content to share their expertise and to share their industry insights on the particular topics that are already part of the conference agenda. And then we have obviously the certified trainings that we're discussing for next year, which is going to be new for 2024. We invite thought leadership from all over Africa and worldwide to participate in the high-level conference agenda, such as the GITEX Africa Digital Summit, which is going to again happen next year. We have a GITEX Africa Digital Health World Congress, an investment forum, and then we'll have again the Digital Development Agency ministerial briefings from where the government entities, the C-level representative of government entities will be invited to participate. And then we have a Tech for Good forum, which this is still in the concept stage. I will not elaborate much on that. And from the experience side, GITEX Africa, it's an entertainment event as well. There's a lot of fun during the event. We had a lot of experiences, trying to give you a bit of an overview of the Moroccan culture. We had riyadhs outside. Potentially, we're going to have some themes happening inside the halls next year. We had Supernova Challenge, which is happening again next year, which is the biggest startup pitch competition in the whole Africa, where all the startups participating will have an opportunity to enter the competition by submitting their pitch beforehand. And then, we're talking about all the other things like media tours and factory tours. This is still, again, the concept, and this depends on the interest from the companies, from the delegates. This is just to demonstrate that GITEX Africa, it's not just exhibition where you come and you exhibit. This is something to immerse yourself in the culture, in the business culture, specifically of that country and of that region, through participating in exhibiting, through speaking, through sponsorship, and many, many other opportunities are there.
Yeah, I just also want to add one thing here, where you would have noticed I'm speaking to the startups and scale-ups on the call with us. You would see that startups are a common denominator across all of these initiatives and these features that we have, in terms of the connections, in terms of the showcase, entry to the competitions as well, and in terms of having a chance to demo your product. We will also have a demo stage where obviously that will be it would be a certain paid opportunity, but then it's on first come first serve, where there are more opportunities where you can elevate yourself as well. Just another thing before we go, we move on to our exhibitors who are actually on the call with us to share their insights. Just looking through some of the questions which we have, I think a common question is, when you are a certain company which is in a certain sector, what is the specific benefit for you being in that sector? So, for example, we have Syed Shan, who's asking, we are a Web3 blockchain metaverse and XR development company. How can GITEX Africa be a good fit for us? We also have Ertiza asking, do you have a specific sector for marketing and advertising? I can answer across all over here how it works. We have quite a few. We have 30 plus sectors in the show as exhibitor sectors. Now, for instance, specifically in the context of these questions, blockchain is a sector. Immersive tech is another sector, right? Which is where your MR, XR, augmented reality, all of that comes into play. We also have MarTech as another sector, exhibitor sector. That is where companies which are existing in digital and social media, conversational AI, all of that comes into that sector as well. Now, what is important to also know is when we have attendees who register with us, or when we have investors who we recruit or we host, we always have the same sectors on their side specifically mentioned, where they have to choose the sector. One, they have to choose the sector or the industry they fall into, and two, they also have to choose the sectors that they are interested to meet. So all the exhibitor sectors, they go into the, let's say, visitor registration or delegate registration page, where they have to choose specifically, give specific details as to what sectors they are looking to meet, from what countries, all of that in detail. Similarly, for investors, they have to choose the same thing as well. And this is where the matchmaking platform, I don't think we actually mentioned that specifically here on this call. The matchmaking platform is a powerful tool which you will be given as an exhibitor once you register for the event on the mobile app, where Of course, before the mobile app, you will yourself mention the industry sectors for your site, and that goes in through the algorithm on the matchmaking platform, and that is where you see the best recommendations in terms of the buyers that you can meet at the show, book meetings with them. And similarly, how the concierge team books meetings between investors and the startups is also the same. They will have the information fed in from you as exhibitors, from investors, what they have entered when they were recruited, and then that goes into their dashboard, and they organize meetings for you as well. Now, again, just one more thing in terms of the relevance here. Let's take Iltiza's question, for example, Martech. So let's say they are a marketing tech development company. So the the exhibition floor, for example, it's huge, as you would have seen. It's 22 halls. There would also be the exhibitors who are looking for solutions. When I say exhibitors, it could be government bodies on the show floor who are looking for meeting with martech providers who can help, let's say, market the destination of Morocco better. I'm talking in terms of Ministry of Morocco, who will be participating there, for example. So it is also to understand that certain exhibitors in the show are also of benefit to you as a startup exhibitor or an SME exhibitor as well, in different shapes and forms, right? And I think we are running short of time, so I think we should just move on to welcoming Moeen from eOcean to actually share his insights and his experience with GITEX Africa, having been there in the first edition. I will just pass the mic to Moeen quickly.
Just while Ashwin is doing that, I want to tell you more about how you can reach us, me and Ashwin, directly on GITEX Africa Sales at dwtc.com, or feel free to connect with our partners in Pakistan, Eventage. We're working with Rimsha, Dawar, and Zishan.
That's right.
Feel free to connect with them. They are partners for for all the other GITEX events. We've been working with them for many years. We trust them. So any kind of concern, we really trust that they will handle it. And if there is anything extra that we can help with, please do not hesitate to reach out directly to us. And I'm sure we can all schedule another call and
Sure. I mean, we couldn't thank Eventage enough. I mean, we're not getting any brownie points with Eventage. It's just to say, honestly, it works as a partnership. The entities from Pakistan, PSEP, TDAP, Ignite, and of course, Eventage being us on the ground in Pakistan. So, as Alicia said, they are your first point of contact, Zishan, Rimsha, and of course, Dawar, who runs Eventage as well. And we are always here to support you directly as well. It is not something where there's any limitation. You can reach us directly as well. But of course, your best point of contact will always be Eventage, being locally present, who represent us in Pakistan. On that note, I will just pass the mic over to Moeed from eOcean. I will just
Hello.
Moeed.
Hello. I hope everyone's good, and thank you so much, Ashwin and Alicia, for the introduction. And I would just like to point out few things. Uh, I would just like to point out few pointers. I'm pretty sure Ashwin also covered that, but just to help you guys out, one of the most important things which has helped us get maximum sort of business and potential lead from the event was that we were utilizing the matchmaking app that we had, and that app is one of the most important things when it comes to reaching out to your potentials. Like Ashwin was mentioning that you can select the industry and the sector that you want to reach out to, and then from there you can always connect with the people, and that's exactly what we did. We started reaching out with the app, and Africa is, I think, for us, it has been one of the most important market to expand into. And I think we have signed three different partnerships during the event. And I think overall, I think we generated around 20 to 25 potential leads that are already in pipeline with us to, capitalize on and maximize the business on. And in terms of the event is exceptionally well in terms of the African market. It's sort of like a gateway for any exhibitor who is planning to expand into the African region. And I think that, with that, I would also like to thank, Eventage, who has always been at the forefront, just like Ashton said, in terms of any POC, any sort of point of contact. They've been really helpful for us as well. So for us, I would say that this is one of the best event if anyone who is looking to expand into the African market, because we have been, exhibiting at pretty much, we have exhibited thrice at GITEX Global as well, and now we've exhibited at GITEX Africa as well. And I mean, it's a no-brainer for us to say that, we will definitely be exhibiting in 2020 GITEX Africa as well, along with that in all the other following events that will be coming up by the GITEX team as well. So I think for us, it's been really great. And anyone who wants to, I'm going to reiterate again, if you're looking to expand into the African market, I think this event is one of the best ones to do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mohit. That was incredibly kind of you to, and of course, what you said is real, right? And just a disclaimer, we haven't paid Mohit $100,000 to say this. No, so thank you very much.
Nothing.
Thank you very much again. And I'll just pass the mic over to Akib to share his experience at the show as a startup exhibitor at GITEX Africa as well.
Thank you, Ashwin. I hope.
We can't see you yet. There you are.
Okay. So thank you so much for having me on the webinar. Can you guys hear me? Okay. We are with GITEX from last 2 years. We have been exhibiting on North Star in Dubai for last 2 years. Then we attended GITEX 2023 as well. Just as Ashwin explained, what I explained, so it's a great event to be looking for your business in. It's a great place to go. Plus point, like Morocco is very next to Spain. You will get a chance to meet with African companies. You will get a chance to meet with companies from France, companies from Spain as well. So it's for us, like being Pakistani, it's very easy for us to go in the Middle East. But sometimes you think about, you have to plan to go to another region and other continent to explore for the business opportunities. So it's a great stage to go and showcase your products, your services. I'm a big supporter of tech events because you got a chance for the networking. So networking is basically the main key point. It's not gonna happen like someone gonna come up with a briefcase full of dollars. So you have to be there, you have to meet people, you have to build your network, and then stay there for a few more days as well. For example, last year, what we did, we stayed there for next 1 week. We went to Casablanca because most of the business of Morocco run through the Casablanca. So we had the meetings in Casablanca, and we brought great deals with there. We have our in Morocco now. So we do have our own, we can say we have our own office in Morocco. So definitely this year we are we will be there at GITEX Morocco again. And from GITEX team, Ashwin and Eventage, those people are really great. Even in the busiest event, whenever you want to reach them, they are always there. Last year, I remember there was some issues we are having with the visas. So GITEX team had the meetings with government, had the meeting with authorities, and they allowed us to get visa on arrival for Morocco. And it was I think the first time in the history of Pakistan, we got the visa on arrival for Pakistanis. So I will just conclude it if it's up to you. You want to participate in North Star or you want to participate in your relevant hall. So you have to go there, and it's a great opportunity to expand your business and meet the new people in Africa region.
Thank you so much, Akib. And after this, in 5 minutes, we'll be sending the participation contract to you and to Mohit to sign. Okay. No, thank you so much again. Really, really great having you as part of the family. I mean, we don't just say this for the sake of it, because it's not just where you come to GITEX Africa and that's it. You keep coming to GITEX Africa, which is great. But then it's also where you join the portfolio, depending on which markets you want to expand into. And that's where you come to expand North Star and GITEX Global Dubai. And then potentially in Berlin, where we are doing we are looking to have the biggest tech event in Europe that's what we are working towards as well in 2025. So let's start with Africa now, and then we'll go from there. And I think a question has been asked about the visas. I mean, from a few people as well. Alicia, you work very closely on the visa process. You want to share?
Yes. So regarding visas, we have a special arrangement with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs because, as I mentioned multiple times, our show is supported by the government entities in Morocco, and they're opening its doors to the companies to come and do business in Morocco. So we had a special arrangement, and as Akib mentioned, that it was a very straightforward process whereby you submit the passport copy to us, and then we send it directly to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and you get a special invitation letter. You don't even have to go to the consulate or embassy. You just go straight to Morocco, and upon arrival, they stamp your passport with the entrance visa. And that process worked for us this year, and the same process, hopefully a little bit smoother, will be implemented for next year, because obviously we have more time now, and we have already a firm partnership with the ministry. So we're implementing the process, and we're trying to make it a bit more smooth for next year as well.
I think a great deal actually comes in from the support that we have from the ministry, from the actual from the royal family as well. So this is something that you guys don't have to worry about. As Akib said as well, this is one thing which we will make sure is as smoothest as possible for you. So yeah, it's about trying to find the best meetings at the show and making the best of it. Then and just to conclude, I'm sure all of you have, if not most of you have, quite a few questions. What we would suggest is to please share your questions all with Eventage, and they would share it over to us, and then we'll answer all of those questions back to you. And of course, you can, from now on, we work closely together, and let's build the best participation, the biggest participation for Pakistan that we've ever had in the show. And anything from your side, Alicia?
No, thank you very much for attending this presentation, and we hope it was very informative for you, and we really hope to see you all in Africa, in Marrakesh, on 29th of May, which is the first day of our event the next year. And yeah, we hope that we can start building your connections in Africa as well via our platform, GITEX Africa.
Thank you very much, everyone, and see you all soon.
Thank you.